going on, everybody? Welcome back to another roster bubble series video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Also, share this out during the NFL offseason, especially during this time. It is very dead time, and some content creators are struggling for views, especially me on certain occasions, but sharing it out and getting it out to other NFL fans, other New York Giant fans, other people will get more people to watch, and then they'll tell their friends, and so on and so forth. That way, when the regular season comes about, more content's on the way and more people are watching. But I appreciate you guys overall. So, another roster bubble series video. Before I get into the candidate or profile of the day, whatever you want to call it. In these videos, I take a player that's on the roster bubble who may or may not get cut. Then I go into their background, competition, how they can win a spot, how they may lose a spot, and then a prediction at the end. So this one is one that's not really heard of. Austin Proehl. Austin Proehl has bounced around in the NFL and has never played an NFL game. He was drafted by the Bills in the 7th round of the 2018 draft out of UNC. We'll talk about his college stats in a second. Then, after he was cut by them the same season, he went on to the Tennessee Titans practice squad, then to the Rams practice squad, then signed a futures contract with them, then was waived in the preseason of 2019. Then he was drafted by the Seattle Dragons of the XFL, where he did play well. Didn't at all mean for that to rhyme, but unfortunately the XFL suspended their operations, and Proehl was pretty much not active for the 2020 NFL season. Then on January 4th, he signed a futures contract with the 49ers. He was waived in May of 2021. Then the Chargers claimed him off of waivers, and then he was waived on August 24th and then re-signed to the practice squad of the Chargers on September 2nd. Then released on October 26th, and then a few days later, the Buffalo Bills, the team that drafted him, picked him up, put him on the practice squad. He was released, then he was re-signed, and then he was released again. And then the New York Giants signed him to a futures contract on February the 15th. He also has a brother by the name of Blake Proehl, and then his dad was a wide receiver as well, Ricky Proehl. But in terms of the college stats for Austin Proehl at UNC, in his first year, 2014, he had 15 receptions, 106 yards, 12 games played, nothing in terms of the running game. Then the next year, his sophomore season, 12 receptions, 225 yards, and a touchdown, 7 games. Then his junior season, 13 games, 43 receptions, 597 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then his last season, 6 games played, 21 receptions, 337 yards, 1 touchdown in total. Then, obviously, we talked about his career up until the XFL, where he played with the Seattle Dragons, played a total of 5 games before operations were seized due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He had a total of 16 catches for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns. He really broke it out in his XFL debut. Now, the Dragons lost to the Defenders, but he caught 5 passes for 88 yards and had 2 touchdowns. He also had a touchdown against the Dallas team. I forget what their name was, but he also played against Tampa Bay, the Vipers, St. Louis. I think their name was the Blackhawks. It was something Hawks. Let's just put it that way. And then against Houston, I forget their team name. But obviously the XFL will be coming back next year. I think it's February 2023. I think The Rock is bringing it back with a couple of other different people. So in terms of Austin Proehl, I mean, he's been a bounce around between NFL rosters, the Titans, the Bills, the Chargers, the 49ers. So he hasn't been able to stick to a roster, and he's never gotten any NFL time. I wish I could look up preseason stats because that would be big for this video, but unfortunately they were not available. Let's take a look at his competition. A lot of it. A lot of competition coming into, a preseason where a lot of wide receivers are not safe. Keelan Doss, C.J. Board, Alex Bachman, Robert Foster, Richie James Jr., Colin Johnson, Travis Toivonen, and David Sills. David Sills has been a camp body for the last 3 years with the Giants. We know his story. He was actually with the Bills. He started his career with the Bills after being undrafted out of Wake Forest. CJ Board, he's been with the New York Giants the last 2 years, special teams, and also as a wide receiver. Keelan Doss spent some time with the Las Vegas Raiders, some other teams as well. Alex Bachman's stuck with the Giants since like 2018, 2019, so he's been a camp body for the last few years. Robert Foster, he was, I believe, drafted by the Bills. He also went to a few different teams as well. I'm going to take a look at that right now. Robert Foster, which we're going to have a video on. He was with the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the football team, the Packers. So he's with a couple of different teams trying to stick to an NFL roster. Richie James mostly with the 49ers on special teams and some wide receiver duties. Colin Johnson was drafted by the Jags. Giants picked him off waivers last year, and he was decent. He was decent as a wide receiver. Travis Tavoynin, don't know much about him. And then we obviously talk about David Sills. How can you win? Show some skill on fourth down and avoid dropping passes with the 2s and 3s. Unless something happens, he is not going to get first-team reps. He is not. Now, it is something that David Sills and the other guys, when the wide receivers were out during minicamp, that David Sills and some of the other wide receivers that really didn't belong with the ones played with the ones. Guys like Richie James, David Sills, I think Robert Foster was one of them, CJ Board. So those guys got reps over Darius Slayton, which is something. Maybe we'll make a video for Slayton. But Proehl didn't get up to that. At least I think so. He did catch some touchdown passes from Davis Webb in minicamp, but it's going to be showing some skill on fourth down, special teams, and avoid dropping passes with the 2s and 3s, because you could probably make out your top 3, 4 wide receivers right now. It's Wandale, not in any order, but Wandale, Sterling Shepard, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney. If you want to put Darius Slayton on there, and that's pretty much it. So you'll need 1 or 2 more wide receivers, and one of those guys is going to have to be really proficient on special teams. Now, this is not a Joe Judge team. This ain't a Pat Shurmur team or whatever, but you do need some wide receivers that have some special teams experience. And if you look at those 5, they're not going to be playing special teams. They're going to be starting/rotating. How does he lose? Has a quiet camp, doesn't stand out from the other wide receivers. All of those guys that I listed have some special teams experience, have some experience in the NFL, except for Tavoynin, I believe. Bachman's played a little bit. Foster's played. Richie James has played. CJ Board has played. David Sills has played. Colin Johnson has played. Keelan Doss has played in the NFL. Proehl and Tavoynin haven't. So it's going to be very much an uphill battle for Austin Proehl to make the roster. Proehl, I apologize for mispronouncing the name, because it was a guy on the Giants roster a few years ago that was competing with Alec Rosas. His name was Marshall Kane. It looked like Cone, but it was Marshall Kane. That's why I see Proehl, whatever. But Austin Proehl, I have him getting released. He may sign to the practice squad. I mean, that's where he fits best, honestly. He may get redrafted by the XFL midway into the season. But for right now, I have him getting released and just being a camp body. We'll see what happens, though. Maybe he does make the roster. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Share this out as well. Once again, did time during the NFL offseason, and it would really help this channel go to different lengths with the algorithm. And we're at 455 subscribers, and we are, let's do the math here, 45 away from halfway to 1,000. And that would be big, going towards monetization and watch hours and all that good stuff. And there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. I said on the Boys in the Big Apple podcast that we will be buying training camp tickets, we'll be buying FanFest tickets, and we will be giving some away. So peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool, and we'll see you in the next video.